You are watching and or listening to The Writer's Block, the one-stop shop for all things writing related, with the two best co-hosts you can find in our particular exact locations. I'm Todd. With me is Andy, and we have quite a show for you.
Because it's after dark.
It is after dark, baby. It is 7:55 p.m. on the east coast of the west coast of Florida. Yeah. And we've got we got a topic today. Would you like to lead us into today's topic, Mr. Sir?
The first topic of the day is actually something I came up with. Surprisingly, because Todd is usually the one who carries the show around here.
Not true. Not true.
But so I was thinking about it about a week ago now, and I thought it would be interesting to discuss how we would see our works, preferably our novels. Well, okay, your novels. Your novels.
Your novel?
I don't have a novel. I'm working on one.
Short stories.
Stories.
There's no limit to what can be included.
But anyway, to get to the point, how they would look in a video game format, because we've talked about movies and TV shows kind of. I don't know if we've hit the brand, we've branched off the TV shows just yet, but we could do that for a later episode if this one hits. But video games, sir, which story would you pick to have a video game created from your storyline?
That's a good question. You want me to answer it first?
Yeah, sir. Because
and the question is, which story would I have as a video game?
Yeah, and how would you see it like playing out?
So I think, look, when I think of like video games are a very unique way of telling a story. It's like, you experience it a lot. Well, I want to say you experience a lot more, but I don't know if that's always true. But you experience the story on a different level, and so I think it's hard to say. I mean, my first thought is obviously that book right there, Fairly Human. I feel like that would make a really good video game world, just because it's a post-apocalyptic environment. You can do a whole lot of types of video games with it. It's basically inspired by video games like Fallout and like Dying Light, stuff like that. So it's a very similar world. It'd probably have a similar structure to something like Uncharted, if you've ever played that, where you essentially kind of like play a movie. I guess is what I would say. And somebody forgot to mute their phone.
Someone is popular.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's, I would say Fairly Human would make a pretty good video game. I feel like. I think it'd be a great everything. Movie franchise, TV show, the whole damn thing, Pardon my French, but
watch your profanity.
No profanities allowed like that around here now. Better save that for after class. Anyways, I'm gonna cut that out.
I'll just leave it.
Yeah, I might as well. You got to keep the failed jokes in with the good ones. I'm pretty sure Forrest Gump said that or something. But what did I say? Forrest Gump. Anyways,
Farrah
Fawcett. She said that too. Fairly Human, I think, would make a pretty good video game. I'd play it, and I'm not biased in any way, but I'd play it. God, I mean, like at the same time, like any story can be made into a video game, but like it doesn't always translate well. I mean, I think the inverse doesn't always translate well. That's what I should say.
I don't know if every story could.
I mean, like at least all of my stories. Like when I think,
yours, yeah.
Okay, minus a lot of my short stories. Like that'd be a really short video game. But my a series I've recently published on my website, www.toddbyron.com. Check it out for some great short stories. I recently put out a couple of stories under the franchise, I guess, title of Crime and Punishment, which is basically my version of Law and Order that I wrote 10 plus years ago.
Pause. Just to let everybody know, Law and Order is revamping February 22nd. So that is in
To
2 days.
no, that
But
was
at that
5 days
point,
ago.
it would already have
Or
released at this
yeah,
point. So just be on the lookout for that. All right, continue.
yeah. Put out a bolo Law and Order returning to NBC. Um, very funny, honestly. That like within the same like rough time span that I'm like relaunching my decade old Law and Order, essentially fan fiction, but like not at all fan fiction. Uh, it gets brought back. Hey, so leave a comment down below if you want like a 2022 version of Crime and Punishment.
Okay, I will leave a comment down below after we air this episode.
Yeah, I mean little bit of a backstory, not backstory, but like I was actually taking criminal justice classes at the time, so I had a decent amount of background information and knowledge on the whole process. Also, I was watching copious amounts of Law and Order, not just the original, but Los Angeles Trial by Jury, so Special Victims Unit, not Criminal Intent. For some reason, that show seemed a bit weird, so I didn't watch it. And then I stopped
Seemed
watching
very
all of them.
dark. Like the lighting was dark. It always seemed like it was dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was.
It was always like clouds.
You know what I mean.
It was overcast. The weather's bad in New York, but not that bad. Sorry. But yeah,
Because Criminal Intent, that one was like more high, like not
High
high
crimes?
crime. Yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah,
Okay, so
I
that's the
think.
term. Okay.
Yeah. And like, yeah. So I was a big fan of Crime and Punishment, Law and Order. But anyways, though, back to my original point was that there were actually a number of Law and Order video games. I could foresee a Crime and Punishment. I cannot speak today. I can see a Crime and Punishment video game series, something similar to the releases of Telltale Games. If you've ever heard of them, they do episodic releases that are relatively short. That would work out pretty well. Trying to think what else. Like, okay, some of my stories wouldn't, like, I've got that book, Enigmatic Martian. That wouldn't really be a video game. I wouldn't say. But it could be, but like I don't think it would be all that great necessarily. I got my Archer's Conundrum series. Like that could be kind of like a video game, but
What about
I don't know if it'd be worth it.
the spinoff? It's not Carrot, the one that's like Carrie.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it could. I guess like when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about what I would want out of a video game, and I usually like to explore the world. There's not really a lot to explore in the town that story takes place in. And by the way, the story is called it's a good question. The Sound of Silence. My memory is getting worse. I just want you to know that. This time next year, I'll have no idea who I am. The Sound of Silence takes place in a town called Buttonwood, Pennsylvania, which is a really small town, probably less than 1,000 people, I'd say. Although I don't know if that's true because they have a Blockbuster. I feel like you have to have a handful of people to have a Blockbuster. It takes place in 1986. Blockbusters were actually relatively new back then, which is weird because you think that Blockbusters have been around for, maybe a little bit longer than 1986, but or maybe I'm just old. I don't really know. But yeah. Anyways, that could be like it could be a story. Or it could be a video game, I don't know. I don't know if it's a video game that I think would be all that like I couldn't imagine Carrie necessarily as a video game. Like, do you just go around throwing shit at people with your mind,
No.
like it could make a game out of it, but like would it be a good game? Would it be a flop? So what about you? What about your out of your short stories, out of your Even like
Def-
even your novel, like I know it's not done yet, but like
I mean,
you still have a basic idea of what it
uh,
is and what it's going to be.
short story wise, I don't see unless you want to unless you just want to walk around being retired and get I don't know stomach cancer or be driving and then have your sister die in the car in a car accident.
What kind
Well,
of
okay, she didn't.
novel is this?
No, this is the short story ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like that's doesn't sound like a crime novel. It just sounds like a sad novel.
No, sorry. This is the short stories. I was just.
I had cancer. Then my
Oh yeah,
sister died.
you've never read Izzy's Ice Cream. That's right.
Yeah. Whoops.
Uh,
My apologies.
that's okay. My
But
time
where could I
series.
find that story if I wanted to read it?
If you Google Andy Camara, it's the first one that pops up. I think. No, if you go back to episode 18,
You have a much better memory than I do.
18 or 19, we go through each other's. We go through
Oh,
our
you're right.
website,
Excellent.
and if you Google Andy Camara, mine pops up first because when I have to just logistical things. Anyway, but when everybody
Episode
else
19.
Googles it, it should be like the third or fourth thing down because off the top of my head, I don't know what the URL actually is. I think it's Andrew Camara at Wix.com. I think
Is it like WICKS?
WIX.
X. Okay, that's confusing.
So just Google my name. It'll pop up eventually. I don't know if the wedding registry is still in there, but that's not me. I mean, if you could go ahead, register for this person's wedding, but it's not me. I am not getting married. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, sure. Anyway, I don't. My time series definitely no, unless you just want to. I don't know, die in the car crash at the end. Spoiler.
Or did you?
Or did I? Yeah.
Maybe it was all a dream. What even is time? Did you know that gravity has a huge effect on time?
That's why I called it the time series because you don't know.
Yeah, fun fact, if you want to listen to a really, really hyper but an excited astrophysicist talk about things that are confusing as hell, just go to YouTube and Google Neil deGrasse Tyson. Love this guy. I have like 2 of his books. Fantastic guy. He'll just oof. Anyways, not paid promo, by the way. I just love listening to that guy.
So
He'll be like, time is not what you think it is. It goes through this black hole sometimes, and he goes crazy. I cannot explain it because I don't know it, but fantastic. Time.
so that definitely no way. So I don't think any of my short stories, like at all, would work. Novel wise, without giving too much away, the ending ends in a cliffhanger. So I guess the video game could end the cliffhanger, but I don't know who wants to play a video game and then have the ending be a cliffhanger. Like you put you do all your detective stuff, and then if you succeed in your detective, ways, and you figure out who the killer is, and then what happens in the book happens in the video game, then people are like, well, that was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I would say like
I think it works for I'm not biased here, but I think the ending for my novel works as a book or a movie, but not in a video game.
Yeah, for a video game, I feel like you want more of a like final ending.
Yeah. Like or you have because like in GTA 5 you have 3 options for the ending. Like in the end of LA Noire, I mean, I'm not going to say spoiler alert because that game came out, 2013? 2011? Okay. You die at the end.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, so
washed away.
Yeah, you did wash away in the pipes.
Yeah.
I
haven't played that game since 2011. That's
to save your, I haven't played it in over a year, but replayed it in over a year, but save your how to phrase this nicely here.
Affair.
Affair girlfriend lady.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually. Yeah, what a game.
Because if you think about it, well, Team Bondi, disbanded. It went bankrupt, but
Yeah, they had some pretty bad like work practices or something like
yeah.
that.
So, but if they were successful and they wanted to make another like crime LA noir, you'd have to create a whole different storyline with a whole new set of characters, unless you use Kelso. I think was his
Yeah, I don't
old.
remember.
I think
I do know they actually had a sequel in development. I don't know if it was a direct sequel, but it was a similar kind of like noir-ish game that obviously is lost to the
obviously not.
history books, but
They
Law
should
and
come
Order
up with.
was once lost to the history books, and it has made a return.
I think they should make another video game like that. I had fun. It was fun.
I think the first question would be looking up whether sometimes a studio will shut down, and then some of the lead designers will just start a new one, and then they'll kind of carry in the project. They give like, but what's it called? Fallout New Vegas is like kind of an example of this. If anyone that knows about the Fallout video games, they were started by a company called God, is it Black Isle Studios, I think, or is it? I think it was Black Isle Studios. I can't remember anything at all, but they eventually went bankrupt and started a new company called. Oh crap! I gotta look this up. In the meantime, though, Fallout, fantastic game. I absolutely love it, and I highly recommend it. And sorry that you can hear my keyboards in the background. Okay, so initially, yeah, Black Isle Studios, they were the initial developers behind the game. Went bankrupt at some point, and some of the key people from that studio came together and created a new studio called Obsidian, which worked on Fallout New Vegas. Years later, some people were like, "Oh yeah, the original team is kind of come back." And point being, uh, Team Bondi, the Australian-based studio, could, some of the key members could theoretically start a new studio. Happens a lot. Then it gets gobbled up by Microsoft and shut down, or some other, giant. That's a whole other area, well outside of writing. It'd be really interesting actually is an episode on writing in video games, because there's a lot of
That would be interesting. Write that
like
down.
like there are well, there are some companies that they don't actually hire writers. Like they just hire people to design like quests or missions, and then they kind of just fill it in what they need to. There's not really a lot of like, not like a lot of planning. I guess not like there's like an overall story, but it's just lackluster. Like that's why like a lot of Bethesda games, for example, this is where a lot of this information comes from. They don't seem to have like actual writers who can craft stories and craft backgrounds, world lore, and tie everything together. They just kind of dish it out independently, and it ends up coming together and being okay, but not great. But I also might be a little biased in that, so who knows? But yeah, that could be I would require some research. For sure.
Yeah. But I feel like if they ever revamped LA, like an LA Noir, I feel like Rockstar would have to do it.
Not necessarily. I mean,
I'm biased in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, God, there are other games out there. Like there's, not many that I've played, but you ever heard of? I think it's called Murder and Soul Suspect.
Mm-mm.
You die, but then you end up investigating your own murder or something like that. That's kind of interesting. You're like a ethereal, spectral ghost or something.
I have a Sherlock Holmes video game. I've started it, and I think I got to this part, and I couldn't figure out how to like sneak into this. I don't know what they call it in England. This apartment flat to hear what conversation was going on, and I got pissed off and stopped, and I haven't played it since. And that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
That must have been quite a doozy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that actually, going back to that murder in the shadows, is that what you said?
Murder suspect. Murder.
That'd be interesting. Shorts. That would be an interesting short story. Second person story, actually.
Yeah, like you're dead. You don't know why. I know. Actually, not even you're dead. Like, damn, now I want to write it.
Yeah,
like,
same.
you can see through your hands. Your body's on the ground. Nothing makes sense. You don't feel pain. You feel cold.
Maybe that's what the whole time series is. That you're not really dead. You're just
Insight.
Insight. No, you're dead. No, you died. But you know how
I just gotta sort of, you say that you're dead. In my reading of it, you're not dead. In my reading of it, you just dreamt the whole thing. And you're back at home with,
So that last story, you think you're alive.
Well, that last story, you're waking up from a really, okay, I'm only saying this because I have dreams sometimes and I wake up and I have no idea what part of it was real and what part of it was not real. Like there's like, I was talking about this today actually with someone else, and there's like, there's like your the reality that you experience, this bubble of existence that is true and is real and it's unquestionable. But then there's this other like sort of subconscious bubble of like things that are in your head and this your imagination, and then this bubble becomes like when you're sleeping and you're dreaming, kind of gets pretty big and starts to like envelop the other bubble, at least for me, I feel like. And you wake up and then all of a sudden the bubble just the bubbles separate, but like you don't really, it takes a while for that to register, I guess, in your mind. And so you end up having this sort of false reality where things that you dreamt of having happened feel real, like actual memories. And like for me, sometimes I don't always know until like there's some kind of like factual bit of evidence to prove it wrong. Like sometimes I actually feel like it's an actual memory, and it's actually moderately disturbing. I may actually just have a brain tumor. I don't know, but yeah, crazy. I don't know why. I was leading towards something, and maybe
my time series.
Yeah. So this guy, he had one heck of a dream. Like it was a doozy of a dream. A lot happened.
Lord.
And then he wakes up and he's like, "Damn, that felt so real. I was dead. I was in this house and it was empty. I drove and I crashed. Dang, that felt real." And I honestly, I know that feeling. And it's
I need to send this
weird. Okay.
I need to send this off to somebody and just be like, hey, put this in, publish this.
I mean, I will say that's just mine. That's just an interpretation of it.
Yeah.
It happens to be my preferred interpretation of it. I mean, obviously nobody wants to be like, yeah, he's dead. That's what I want it to be. But it was like, I like the idea of, guy had one hell of a dream and it kicked his ass.
So I guess in that sense, you could make it a video game. If you interpret it that way, we could technically make it into a video game, because then if you're living through vicariously through that dream, you're gonna want to stop what is happening. So it's kind of like this movie. I watched it in college. I can't never remember what it's called. It's not Inception.
That was my first thought.
It's
Deception.
You watch the movie in reverse. Well, and then
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
No, I can't. I can't remember what the hell it was called. Unless it was Inception, and I'm just thinking of it.
Actually, I think I know what you're talking about. Is it? Does it
lead
lead back to
a car crash or something in that nature?
I don't know what it's called, but I do know of a movie that moves backward like that. Like it's something happens, some like
or someone, or yeah, he gets. I think he's a cop and he dies at the end. And
I couldn't tell you.
Someone, if you know what we're talking about with our very vague, detailed description, leave a comment.
Something happens and then it goes backwards in time. What movie is it?
What movie is this?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, like you can do a lot with it. I mean, one of the cool things about like if the reality is that you're dreaming, I mean, you can have a lot of just ludicrous things happen because at the end of the day, it's all a dream. None of it's real. I mean, even if oh man, I got in a car accident, killed my. Oh, this is gonna be pretty dark. Killed my whole family. Yada yada yada. And then like, well, you wake up and they're all there, and like that kind of like schism of like feeling that and believing that and living that in some ways, and then all of a sudden, none of that was even real. Like that's that's powerful. I feel like I don't know. Maybe that's just my own like personal connection to it. To just for having like such. I don't want to say realistic memes, but just dreams, memes.
Memes.
Having such realistic dreams that just like meld with memories or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
No, I've definitely had those before. I know what you're talking about.
It's really frequent sometimes. It's really spooky. Like waking up and just being like, man, I can't believe that happened. It's horrible. And then, well, not only is it not, it's turned not to be true, but I end up forgetting the whole damn thing. Like most dreams, if I don't write it down, it's gone forever. And then here's a really creepy thing. Sometimes I'll write them down and I'll reread them a month or two later, and I will be freaked out because I will by that point have no recollection of it, but I know it's real because I wrote it down. That's freaky. Like the that raw memory you have when you wake up. It's just like for me, it's just dissipated. It's gone. Not even a fragment of it left. So I'll leave like if whatever I remember, I leave a really detailed description of what happened, what I saw, what was going on. I've got it written down in one of my journals somewhere, and it's spooky. Yeah, pretty sure I actually have a brain tumor. Nothing else explains all the weird shit. There's memories, corrupted memories, dreams, corrupted dreams, inability to speak sometimes.
I think we're slow. I think we're watching you have a stroke on air.
Could be if the side of my face starts to droop. Just call my sister.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Shit.
I shouldn't do that. Oof.
But anyway, but you go to my novel. You know how it ends. I think that's not a really fun ending or an interesting ending for a video game, don't you think? You do remember how it ends, right? Okay,
we're gonna have to. Person with memory issues. If they remember.
Okay, well,
I think I actually do remember how it ends. A fatal gunshot and a fade to black.
Yes.
I don't know if I revealed too much there, but
I don't think so.
Who shot the bullet, or how many bullets were fired, or where?
Why is it dark?
Plane crash afterwards. Nobody knows. But what was the question?
But the ending being
for a video game, yeah. Okay, this is why I say like some of my stories would be good as the Telltale game series, because they put out like 5 like episodes, and they directly follow each other. So you could kind of do like your entire book series right for this, whatever, and then have them like that following each other. Because like the idea is like if you're gonna leave at a cliffhanger, which you can do, I think you want to follow it up really quickly with either a sequel, like very, very quickly, or maybe some kind of like additional content to kind of provide some kind of closure. But yeah, I don't think I'd recommend any kind of.
So I don't think mine not unless I start like that detective short story series of where you're going back and looking over like cases that he did talking about. Maybe that would work.
Yeah.
And then it reveals something like the bigger picture all at the end. Like you don't like it's just an over like a narrator. Or like you're like the retired you and they're narrating each like case that you're doing, and then it could reveal something at the end. I'm also My wheels are spinning as we speak. That could work into something here. It's a
Yeah.
short story series.
My first thought was like, why do you have wheels in your bedroom? I, I don't know why. I was very, for a half second, I was just very, very confused. That was not a joke. I have a brain tumor. It's not my fault. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, I better get that taken care of. I should probably see
Yeah.
a craniologist or something.
Mm-hmm. Probably should see a doctor.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll just write about it instead.
That could work too.
Yeah, yeah. And my
So
story,
I
everything will work out just fine.
so I
Tumor goes
guess
away.
I guess in my case, none of my stories, my writings would work in a video game. Unless I somehow remembered all of the Candyland series, like the Candyland story, and plop that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That I don't know if that'll ever happen.
maybe if some YouTube commenters recommend it, perhaps. Maybe. Kind of. Maybe. Maybe.
That's on the that'll be on the back burner anyway. I got to finish the short story that I'm writing now. I'm already 5 pages in, and I don't have an ending yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really busy lately, so I haven't really had much progress with my other book. I've been really busy. I've done a lot of work on writing, more than I expected to, but I haven't made any progress since January on my Fairly Human sequel. So that's kind of just not. I was gonna say dead in the water, but it's not dead in the water. It's just on standby. Uh, but one one last quick question before we wrap this up. What is the story or book that has made you cry?
Hmm.
We're going to
Well,
end this episode on a happy note.
I've never read Marley and Me. I probably would get it. I would. I don't know if I'd probably get teary eyed in that, just knowing my personality.
Yeah,
And people can attest to that.
yeah.
I
I remember
feel
one
there
time you're
was
like, "Look at that cloud. It looks like a heart." Ooh,
there was this.
it's Mickey Mouse.
I think it's a young adult story uh, called "The Tales of Despero." I don't know if you ever heard it. It's
No.
about a mouse, and I don't know if that was sad at the end or not. I think my mom said it was kind. It was like a happy sad.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. I mean, my own writing sometimes is
yeah,
like if it's I'm writing something that's fiction, but it's based off of something that's true, that can get and the right set of because I'm back on the listening to uh, not orchestra music, but I guess it kind of is like movie
polka.
songs from movies. Yeah, polka. But listening to uh, music from like movies and stuff from
Yeah,
certain composers. So if that all hits at the right moment, then that will happen.
yeah,
Sometimes I get teary eyed, but I can't off the top of my head. I can't think of a book that
yeah,
made me cry.
yeah. I mean, same. Like I've never. I don't remember ever like I've never been like bawling crying, but like
Yeah,
but like sometimes like definitely when I have written some stuff over the years. Some of which will be in my short story compilation, more than a few short stories to be released later this year. Um, I have some of the things I've written, like as you're writing it, they're very emotional topics, and as I'm writing it, I'm kind of like, you know, experiencing it.
yep.
Not to say that like I cry, but like sometimes you can feel your eyes watering, and you're like, yeah, this is kind of sad, you know. Not the
Well, I
story
mean,
necessarily, but just like everything. But
yeah. I mean,
it
I
is.
guess I did. Sorry to interrupt, but the short
Oh,
story
there
I'm
we go.
writing now, I had a scene and I had to stop because I was like, this is like it didn't have nothing. It never happened, but it's probably something that does happen all the time,
Yeah,
and it just you just think about it, and you're like, oh crikeys.
Yeah, but the only book that I haven't written that has ever actually like gotten to me is a book called A Little Life. Now, this book, I think part of why this book kind of has that effect is it's 800 pages long. So you get really invested with the characters, and let's just look at the picture of the book. Like that dude's obviously not too happy, and so you get really invested in characters. You see them grow, change over time, and suffer, and sometimes you kind of feel like you get to know them, and so when things happen, sometimes it's like you feel even more because you've been 800 words. That's the longest book I've ever written. I did not write this book. Longest book I've ever read, and yeah, I tend to when certain events happen later on in the book, definitely I could feel like a little bit of water pooling up, and I was like, I'm a man. I cannot cry. And it was the only time it's ever happened. It was damn sad. Like it was if you want to read an 800 page sad book with okay, it's not all sad. There are moments of happiness in it, good stuff, positivity, but there's some sad stuff. Anyways, yeah, if you want that, this is the book for you. But yeah. Yeah, I go more into detail, but I don't want to spoil it.
Spoil it. I think you told me how it ends.
I don't know. All right. Well, so basically, this
you don't have to spoil it. I just think I can understand why you were sad.
Oh, yeah. It's just like the main character goes through a lot of shit, and then they finally find someone that that they're willing to like live the rest of their life with, and I think they get married. They move in together. Everything's nice. And this is after like a lifetime. I mean, like 40 years of harsh living conditions, abusive relationships. Finally, everything works out. That person gets in a car crash, dies. And then like that was rough. But then like the main character like never really recovers after that. They're just on this downward slope of I have no reason to exist anymore. Life is not enjoyable. I want not to exist. And that's how the story ends until they don't exist anymore themselves. And yeah, so it's a pretty sad story. But I think one of the interesting things about this book is, despite how sad it is, like the happy moments are made all the more like positive and happier. And like when good things happen, like you can't help but smile because like, yeah, man, that's something good happened to them. It's great, because it's like it's buoyed by the harsh realities that they experience. Good book. Took me a while to read it, but yeah. On that note, we should probably go ahead and close up shop. On that very happy, bright note, well, you know what it is? When you do a show after dark, you have to end on a dark note.
Dun dun dun.
Maybe next week we can talk about The Dark Knight Rises, a movie. It has the word dark in it, so it's relevant. It's been a long day.
Maybe talking about it while having some dark chocolate.
You should have said, what would make this a bit more energetic? Dark roast coffee. That would have been the ideal thing there. Yeah. But yeah, this is not an ASMR show, so let's stop doing that. We're turning away the viewers.
Buy some dark colored merch like I have.
If for a brief moment I thought like it just looked like you're like rubbing your nips or something. I was like, Jinkies, this is a writing show. I just said this is a family friendly environment.
You did say it. Shoot about 5 times in about 5 minutes
well, we're
ago.
probably talking about Law and Order. They do a lot of shooting in that show.
All right, we're spiraling out of control.
Well, you know what? That's what happens at night. You know, I gotta say, before we leave, and since we're already way off the tracks, I was watching somebody on YouTube, and they were like, "What's the deal with ASMR? This is some weird shit, right?" Pardon my French. Pardon
We're gonna
my
have to
profanity.
bleep you out like 7 times.
Yeah, let me start dropping f bombs. The guy's like, he started playing like small clips of actual ASMR people, and they just have these like high tech audio recorders, and then they're just like licking blocks of wood or something, and it's just like that's disgusting. But not just a licking the wood, but like you hear so much. Like you think you can hear somebody licking wood, you hear so damn much. It is disgusting. Like no offense to people that do it or want to listen to it, but that's a little I don't know, a little strange, a little different. You know, I just picture like somebody's like,
Just
what is it?
don't show
What
it.
does it sound like to lick my glass? You know, like, and then they just zoom in with the microphone. Anyways, I don't have a point. It's just weird.
That was just your diatribe.
What? Diatribe? No,
That
it was my trade, actually.
Oh, your tirade. Okay.
Yeah, yes. I'm moving past the diatribe word. It's too shallow and pedantic. Anyways, it's almost 10 o'clock, so let's go ahead and close up shop. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yeah, you guys are the MVPs. Any of you that are actually, if you've watched this whole episode without skipping through it, and you've actually listened to all of our crap, like I feel like I owe you money. Okay, you're great. Okay. So, anyways, yeah. Well, leave us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the bell for notifications. Yeah, share us. Tell us, tell your family, your friends. Say, hey, there's this really awful writing podcast on YouTube. I want you to listen to, and spam our links. Okay, we're on Spotify. We're on Spotify. That's impressive. That's crazy. I don't know anyone on Spotify other than us. Like this is just crazy. You know, we're amazing. Like, you know, we're like we're gonna be on like we're gonna be better than Joe Rogan someday. So you know, yeah. Thank you.
You have gone off the rails. Make sure you check out our merch stores too.
Yeah, check out merch. Follow us on the Twitters. You know, and check out our websites. I don't know if we already said that. Probably did. Check out our website. Check out our stories. I mean, there's actually some genuinely good stories. It's all free. You know,
it's all free.
Yeah, you know, just go to Google.
Buy Todd's book.
Google that guy's name. And Andy, is it Andy Camara? Or would you have to Google Andy Camara or do you Google Andrew Camara?
You could type in. You Google Andy Camara.
Okay,
it works.
I said do that. You know, that was a third from the top.
Yeah, third or fourth.
Third or fourth from the top. You know, you can Google my name too, or just do toddbarton.com. Either one works. We got some great shit out there, great stuff out there. My stuff's great. His stuff's great. Read the time series. I'm going to end this now because this is getting crazy. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, morning, night, insert time of day. Merry Christmas. How do you stop recording?